Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And we are here with this week's Variety Hour.
Variety Hour.
Yes.
With one cigar, I don't have anything good to drink because we're doing healthy things. I have water, which is all I've had forever now. It's life-changing.
Doctors in the 30s used to prescribe cigars all the time.
That was the 30s. My grandmother, before she passed, I used to always give her shit. She was a chain smoker, avid chain smoker. She'd sit in her kitchen, smoke Durrells one after the other. And anytime like her great-grandchildren, the tiny ones, would come over, she'd put her cigarette out, or she'd smoke outside. And I said one day, I'm like, why do you do that? I have pictures of you holding me as an infant with a cigarette, like the ashes are dropping onto my forehead. She's like, they weren't bad for you then. Oh, thanks.
My mother, I'm surprised I still have eyesight. Because my mother was a smoker, and whenever we were in the back seat, like, the air conditioning on none of our cars ever worked.
Okay.
So in the summer, the windows were down, no matter what. And that's how I still do it that way now. I never use my air conditioning. But she was a smoker, and I loved to look out the windows. So when she would put her cigarette out the window and ash, straight into my fucking eyes.
Well done.
Every fucking time. Every fucking time.
My mother, as far as I know, never smoked. She used to chew, though.
Really?
My mother's an NCAA softball champion, and it's what you did when you played ball back in the early 80s. You had chew.
Wow.
So my mom is more manly than I will ever achieve to be. So anyway, little housekeeping, as you like to say. We have more patrons.
It's not a little bit.
We cannot keep up almost with all these patrons.
Yes, so we apologize for the delay at times. It's hard to coordinate going out and getting these things, and yeah, it's a bit much when you're running on the schedule that we're running on.
Correct.
So, but we do have 4 new patrons to introduce. Elizabeth Tyree, you joined the rank of patron, and you will forever be commemorated on the Strip Cover Lit set as Targaryen. What's her first name?
Daenerys?
Daenerys Targaryen. Why? Because she is the Dragon Mother. And we've creeped on your Twitter a little bit, so congratulations to us.
Yes.
For knowing things about people, hopefully. That
she says on her Twitter where the dragons live.
Right.
So that it leads us immediately to think dragons, and then we say dragon, mother of dragons.
Yes.
Because she's talking about her kids. Mm-hmm. We think we did well. We hope we did well, at least. I mean, she's a very strong character in the series, and I probably butchered her name because I really don't watch very much of it.
Here's the thing that I am starting to be rueful of. The pop vinyls, especially as they represent our female patrons, because it is very hard. We try to find reasons behind all of the patrons.
Correct.
And Amy is Wolverine because there's reasons behind there. Other than that, it is very difficult to find female action figures.
Very true.
Right? So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. Next, Patricia Greenway. Fight Club, Marla Singer. You read Fight Club. You're a fan of it. And Marla completes the trio. We have a Tyler Durden and we have a narrator. And they will at some point all be displayed on set.
Don't let him lie to you about this one. He just really wanted all 3 of them.
Well, why wouldn't I?
It's just a thing like that.
So, Peter Clark, the writer, joined the rank of our patrons. Wanted to know who he would be represented by.
This one was a challenge, because I know who we wanted, but we couldn't find him. And I looked, and I looked, and I looked. Apparently he's a relatively rare figure. We wanted to get him Cedric Diggory, because he's a Hufflepuff. And Peter Clark's reading along Harry Potter with us. He founded the Strip Cover Book Club, which he does all his videos under the moniker Strip Cover Book Club, which is awesome. So we wanted to at least go Harry Potter.
Yes.
So
In very timely fashion.
in a timely fashion,
Plus, sort of a badass character, right?
I like him.
Very big name,
I like him a lot.
right? Sirius Black. Hopefully that goes over well. Peter?
I think it is. I like Sirius.
I'll
running
rant
out of
on this a
room.
little bit later. PF, known strictly as PF. If this is the same PF, which I'm guessing there's only so many PFs in the world, besides Chang, out there someplace. We had a conversation about DC. And I'm going to get on a little bit of a soapbox here because I am a Marvel guy, not a DC guy. But grew up with comic books in general. Big fan of several DC characters. Obviously Batman. Obviously Superman. The Joker might be the greatest villain of all time. So there's a lot of things going on in DC that I enjoy. However, this movieverse that is currently destroying the DC brand is so abrasive, and they're pushing it so hard that it's very difficult to find a Batman that is not abrasively Ben Affleck-ish, right? They're all too Ben Affleck. And I can't stand Ben Affleck, and I can't stand the DC movies. So, where do we go?
We go back in time.
We go back in time. With still one of the most badass, if not the most badass comic book character ever, Batman. But you can't do it because all the Batmans you find are Ben Affleck. Except the Batmans, which are Michael Keaton. This is the Batman of my childhood. This is the Batman I grew up with, the first Batman I knew. And you will forever be on our set immortalized as Batman. Michael Keaton.
I was really hoping for Adam West, but
There was an Adam West. I found the Adam West and I questioned that.
yeah,
But Keaton's just too badass.
Keaton's a badass.
He is, to this day, my favorite Batman.
And I could see how being like, oh, we immortalize you. Look, you're Adam West Batman. Somebody would be like, well, fuck you, man. So anyway, as it normally does. So
So I've got a little bit of a... I did some deep thinking on this, right?
okay,
This is incredibly humbling that people would decide that we are worth a monthly donation through Patreon, right?
Correct.
That's why we try to include you on the set forever. And I hope this is okay with Amy. We had a conversation about this where I thanked her for becoming a patron, and she said to me, I figured you guys were worth a Tim Horton tea per month, right? And when you think about it, that's where we are as a society. For the price of a for one Tim Hortons a month, you can fund a wonderful Dalton, right? So here's where this strikes me. This is 12 people now who have decided that we're worth a Tim Hortons a month. That's incredibly humbling, first off. Second off, it's terrifying to realize that we're in a world where this crowdfunding idea could be putting over hateful people, could be putting over miserable racists and bigots and sexist people, could be putting over all of these people to where they have the time. Like our goal here is to be full-time, right? This is what we want to do with our lives. There are people who would dedicate their lives to nefarious means if given that time awarded through the price of a Tim Hortons tea per month.
true.
Right? It is, I believe, a testament to the true nature of people. That when you look around and you see the people on YouTube, for example, that are going full-time, it's not hateful people.
Correct.
It is not people who are looking to destroy things. It is not people who are looking to make the world a worse place by by the very definitions that our society have put forth for what is good versus bad.
Can I back you up just a hair here?
Yes.
We do often claim to be hateful people who plan to destroy everything that you hold dear and tear the world apart. But we do it in jest. And...
Dalton.
What? What? You say it all the time.
Right, but I think that we're doing things in a
good-hearted nature.
Right, in a nihilistic manner as well.
Yes.
Like I basically just proved that I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud is about suicide.
Yeah, that's okay, but that's talking art, that's talking literature,
Right.
and that's a great thing. I just had a buddy who came back from Canada, the Great White North.
Yes.
He brought me a bottle of whiskey back, because apparently Canadians make whiskey.
Good stuff.
I didn't realize he was supposed to go to Cancun, but they went to Canada instead. I assumed there was some kind of awesome typo there, but I said, you have to bring me back a Tim Hortons shirt. I can piss off the internet so much if you bring me back a Tim Hortons shirt. He didn't. I'm upset. So I think we have to make it a goal to travel to the Great White North. Even if it's just going across the border to have Tim Hortons. Because I think that's really all they do is go to Tim Hortons. I don't know.
Amy, do you have a spare room? Strip Cover Lit will be coming to a spare room near you. But no, back to my point. Thank you.
Absolutely.
For deciding that we are worth that, right? And is it or is it not insane to think that we live in that world?
It is insane to think of that world, and it's absolutely insane to me personally that our variety hours, which were like, when we first started, I'm like, I don't know, we kind of need some filler, we want to talk about things.
This was my idea.
This was your idea. You wanted to talk about things.
You said, I don't know.
Watch that.
What are we going to do that for?
But this has 10 minutes, 11, 12 minutes into this. The majority of it is just introducing new patrons and thanking people, which is incredible. Like, we don't even get a bitch about things anymore. It's awesome. But it is really humbling. And we've said it many times before, not a lot of people go, oh, you're a literature major. Well, good for you.
Right.
Good for you.
This is the area of the country where people say, oh, you've got a degree in literature?
No, I was telling a guy at work who works in a vocational area. He teaches hands-on mechanic things. That I had a degree in literature, and he's like reading? Like, yeah, I like reading. So,
well, let's go a little bit into that. What do you think that a literature degree is good for?
A literature degree can be good for a lot of things, but if you look at the job market where we are located, it's worthless.
Absolutely.
Because one...
Well, I think that's a very impoverished way of looking at education.
But that's the way it is around here.
Well, no. I think that it's a very impoverished way of looking at education to say that it is worthless because it does not directly translate to dollars.
Correct.
Which is
that's
what you
the way
said.
things work around here.
It's the way things are
in our
said
area
around here. It's not the way things work.
Because from where I'm from, if you don't work in a factory, or you don't drive a truck, or you don't own a farm, you are a worthless individual. You might find a job, but it's just interim. Most of the people who work where I work there because they need the insurance because they're farmers.
Okay, yeah.
So that's just the way it kind of works in our area.
But you are what you're saying is that worth is a dollar amount.
That's the way it's perceived where we live.
No, that's what you said.
Okay.
That's not what you said was perceived. You said that's the way it is.
It is the way it is because...
Do you feel that worth is represented by dollars?
Do I feel that way?
Yes.
No. Or else I would have got a business degree.
Right.
But...
So don't say it that way.
If you go out and try to get a job in our area, you live in Kansas City. It's a little different.
No, it's not.
Not incredibly different. I've looked at the Kansas City market, but it is a little different. There are opportunities here.
I have not seen any of them.
But if you go out and try to find a job and say, oh, I have a literature degree, they're like, that's nice. Good for you. That's the way it works.
Okay, so when we're talking about the job market, most of the people that would be interviewing at any job that you apply to are going to have a business degree, correct? Mm-hmm. So the way I look at this is, if everyone has a business degree and we get the same interview, I've already won. Because I can learn anything.
Correct.
But that interview says who you are right now. And I am loquacious, yes. I know a lot of words and I know how to use them and I use them very well. And I am very confident in my speech. You don't necessarily get that from a business degree, do you?
No, you don't.
But I'm taking it one step beyond that. My day-to-day life is richer because I can look at things and read them whether they are words or not. When you get a literature degree, you can read people, you can read situations, you could read propaganda that's coming through your radio waves, right? There are so many things that you know. Just because you heard it doesn't mean it's true, right?
And I think we talked about this maybe a week ago. I've always really considered looking towards a law degree, and our former advisor actually really suggested that, because apparently literature and law just go hand in hand.
Because you can read things in different ways.
You can read things in a different light. A lot of critical reading going on there. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, say what you want to, Dalton. I still value my degree.
So good for you. Maybe I'm just downtrodden. It's been a long.
Yeah. I mean,
long
here's
5
the thing.
years.
Here's the thing. Where I work, I have the same position as tons of people who have business degrees.
Yes.
Right. I have superiors, people who work under me, people who work alongside me that have business degrees. So they never got to study what they wanted to study.
Correct.
They studied business and ended up the same place as the guy with the lit degree.
This is a...
So when they are through with work, they go home to the same person they were before college.
Yes.
When I went to college, I developed the person I was going to be away from work. So I go home with the same money, but richer for those means.
I can't say anything. There's something on the tip of my tongue that I want to get into so bad, but
Why not?
I won't. I can't at this time. We'll discuss this later.
Okay.
But anyway, talk about moving to Canada. I tell you, I really highly considered it. I very legitimately, about a year ago, sat down and sat with the fiance, and we looked out financially what it would take to move to Canada, and we really considered. I really want to go to Montreal. I think I'd love it there. I love everything about it. I know French. I could be pretentious and speak French. Apparently Tim Hortons is great, but I can't go to Canada now. Do you know why?
Why?
Pokemon Go was not released in Canada.
Pokemon Go.
Do you play? Do you play Pokemon Go?
Ask again.
Do you play Pokemon Go?
Ask again.
Okay, so let me define what this is for you. Are you familiar at least?
I have heard people talking about it. I still don't know what it is.
Because it's been out for a week now, and it's the biggest thing that's ever happened.
Here's the thing. I heard about it on Twitter. I heard about it on sports talk radio. I heard about it on regular radio. Those are my only means of socialization, by the way. I heard about it at work.
Twitter. No. Within 3 days, there were more people playing Pokemon Go than there were registered Twitter users.
What?
Yes.
Do you have any idea how many bots are on Twitter?
Yes.
There were more people on Pokemon Go than on Twitter.
Yes. And it's the most amazing thing ever. So all it is you're walking around, it's GPS oriented, you throw little Pokeballs and you catch these Pokemon, and there's lures, but you know, there's a little bit of a decency here. Little decency.
Means nothing to me.
This means something to you. The prime locations, which you are supposed to go to, are cultural, art, educational, and religious areas.
Okay.
So public libraries, public works of art, a lot of churches are the hot spots. Museums, those are the hot spots. So it is promoting people to go out and explore these areas. And it's not just...
While not looking up from their fucking phones.
They'll get there one day.
They learned how to get there.
It gets them familiar with the area.
There's an art museum in Kansas City? I'll be goddamned.
But it's not just like millennials playing. This game has taken over so many people. So there I was, 3:30 in the morning. I was down at the local park a few blocks away from my house. There's 20 or 30 people out there playing.
When?
3:30 in the morning the other day.
It sounds like a zombie apocalypse is what it sounds like.
I don't sleep normal hours, so that's daytime.
Well, yeah, but I bet those people do.
They do. And there's people who are like, oh yeah, we've been here for like 8 hours. Yeah, they're putting in regular job hours to this. Police officer shows up, gets out of his car, steps over to a large group of individuals, says, you know, hello folks, how you doing? This is Midwest. That's how you approach people. And then pulls out his phone and says, is anyone else on Team Valor? And he sat there with us for an hour and played. It's huge.
That's terrifying.
It's amazing.
So is there any financial reward to this?
Absolutely not.
What do you... 'Cause here, let me explain my only experience with Pokemon.
Okay.
I used to collect football cards when I was a child. My first business was selling football cards in what was called Adventure Club at the time.
Black market?
Yes. And so you would go to these card stores, and the creme de la creme of my childhood was the Marcus Allen 1984 rookie card.
Okay.
And he was drafted by the Oakland Raiders, but he was a Kansas City Chief in everyone's heart.
Okay.
And the card was south of $50, right?
All right.
So that was it, as far as I was concerned. Every time I went to the card shop, I would look at Marcus Allen's rookie card and pine of the day where I would have his card. South of $50.
Okay.
And you know, there were others that were more. Peyton Manning hit the market immediately and was huge. That was a little bit later in life, but these Pokemon cards started popping up at $100, $120, $130, $150.
Yeah.
And here I was, this kid buying $1.99 packs of football cards saying, what the fuck is that? How does that exist? And I believe it is a theory of mine in the back of my head that it was Pokemon which forced Upper Deck to start putting patches of players' jerseys onto cards.
Good possibility.
Because I remember like the first ones were like Upper Deck 97 maybe, had Joe Montana in it. And I mean, that card was through the roof immediately.
Yeah. It's huge. The game is free to play. They do take place in the microtransactions. So
What's that mean?
you can pay $1 to get something from the game, but it's not necessary, but sure, makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Does that save you from going to the art museum?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Except, you know, it's more populated. You catch more Pokemon there. But no, there's no financial gain from it whatsoever. It's so simple right now. I think the plan eventually is to put out a leaderboard to say, you know, who's the best, which is going to make it worse. But as of right now, no, it's just a huge social anomaly.
Wow.
Because people are going out and meeting people, and people are leaving the house for the first time in years.
Yeah. But they're not really leaving the house. They're on their cell phones.
They're on their cell phones, but when's the last time you spent 4 hours in a park with other people interacting with them?
Are you really interacting like this?
Not, you don't sit there and do it the whole time, because you have to walk. You have to walk to explore new areas. And then you're going to discuss with all these people who are walking to explore new areas. I'm going to take you Pokemon hunting when we're done with this video.
So here's a question.
Yes.
Who's your favorite Pokemon?
I don't know, really.
What do you mean you don't know? You have a favorite Pokemon.
Not really.
You have a favorite Pokemon.
Right now, my Vaporeon is highest, so it is my favorite. Vaporeon.
Vaporeon?
Yes.
Okay, so you've captured Vaporeon?
I have this, yes.
Okay, so Vaporeon here. Once you have captured Vaporeon, what do you do with her?
You level it, make it stronger.
For what?
To capture gems.
For what?
Personal pride.
So you do this just with Vaporeon?
No, you can do it with any of them, but that's my strongest.
Why would you waste time catching another one?
Now,
when you could use Vaporeon all the time?
Because you have to catch more to level it
to 50 level mage or whatever the hell that you Dungeon and Dragons kids do.
Okay, so here, if you're going to go like favorite Pokemon stance, and there are a lot of kids who are playing, there's a lot of adults who are playing who had favorites as a kid. Yeah, you have to actually go out, track down, and actively seek your favorite. I'm going to take you Pokemon hunting. And here's the bitch. You may make fun of it, but I guarantee 50% of our viewership's been Pokemon hunting today.
Well, then I'm making fun of you as well.
So,
I don't understand it. I am not necessarily making fun of it. I genuinely do not understand it. It's like gaming. Like on your Xbox 360 one or whatever it is. I do not understand
It's entertainment. It's entertainment. It's pure entertainment. It's going to see the action movie.
Yeah, but even then, you can interpret an action movie in different ways, like in a literature way, right? And you profit from that. You get emotions from that. Do you get emotions from Pokemon?
Absolutely, you do.
What do you get from Pokemon?
With this game, there is so much nostalgia built around it. Yeah, that's the reason people are enjoying it so much.
Okay, so defend this to me.
Okay, so when you were a kid, you loved football cards.
Yes.
That was your thing.
Yes.
How would it feel to wake up tomorrow and know everybody was into football cards again? Not only are they into football cards, they're into the football cards that you cared about. That Marcus Allen, he's a big deal again.
Well, then
and he's obtainable again.
Then I'd find wherever I had that Marcus Allen card and I'd sell it.
Yes.
Right? But you can't sell. You said you can't sell your.
There's
Pokemon.
no financial gain to it, but wouldn't that be entertaining and fun to you again? To go out and just be like, you could go to the card shop and talk, and you could meet people who are into the same thing you were, and you could talk about the good old days of Marcus Allen being $50.
In football, there is a debate. Who is the greatest running back of all time? Who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? What about the rookie class? Right.
Okay. This game was released with no instructions. In order to figure out how to play it, you just have to figure out how to play it. So the current debate is, how do I get this thing to this level? How do I get myself to this level? Is there a better way to grow it before you evolve it? So it's similar. It is very similar.
I just don't know. Like, the big thing, even when I was a kid, like I said, my first business was selling football cards. Even when I was a kid,
monetary gain.
Well, there was the idea of monetary gain. There was the idea of a net worth of your collection. Like a lot of us, we would go to trade nights, like you say. Mm-hmm. But what we would be doing is, you know, this Brett Favre, it books for $10. But I know you collect Brett Favre. And I know you don't have this Brett Favre. So I know that to you, this Brett Favre is easily worth $14, which is 3 Marcus Allens and the Emmitt Smith.
So here's my thing. This game is free to play. We can put it on your phone right now. You can go play it. Anybody can. Anybody can enjoy it. One of the biggest gyms that people are fighting to achieve right now is the White House. There's a gym at the White House. I like to imagine Joe Biden as a fierce player, just sitting in the meetings in the back throwing his Pokeballs.
You know Joe Biden is just as clueless to this as I am.
Now here's the thing.
Barack might be playing this.
Here's the thing.
Barack's hip.
You're in Washington, D.C., and you wake up one morning, and there's a beacon on top of the White House, and you can put your name on it. And you will know, millions of people will know that you own that, and you work to get it. There's an appeal there.
So there's a beacon?
Yes. I will show you later.
I am your grandpa here.
Yes,
I have no idea, little boy, what's going on.
We just wasted an entire variety hour talking about Pokemon Go, but this will be one of the most popular ones.
We got patrons!
And patrons! But we usually have 30 topics, and I'm like, no, Pokemon Go, man.
Look, we are worth all of this Tim Hortons. Do you see that? We're worth all of this Tim Hortons.
You don't understand Pokemon.
I collect patrons now.
Like I don't understand Tim Hortons. It's just a Dunkin' Donuts, but a gas station.
Dunkin' Donuts. Well, okay, so we'll compare it to Quick Trip. Quick Trip has amazing food. You said you can't just.
Quick Trip.
Well,
I do love Quick Trip.
You can't just stop at Quick Trip, can you?
Why don't they just call it Quick Trip? That's the most American thing I've ever said.
Oh, it's Quick Trip.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to Tim Hortons and be like, so this is like a Quick Trip? Yeah, this is Quick Trip. Anyway, if you would like to get some more Variety Hour and hopefully follow our eventual journey to the Canadian North.
Descent into
Canada and Pokemon. Give us a subscribe. Make sure you like this video as well. We greatly appreciate that.
Follow us on Twitter @StripCover, on Facebook @StripCoverLit.